What's up, everybody? This is Big Daddy Diablo. Uh, where do I start? Name this video Magsorc. I've ran a lot of Magsorcs, but a lot of people say a lot about my guys I create, and that I watch YouTube videos and they just basically talk a lot of smack. Let's see. Pretty much, this character here is going to be run with my own personal build. That's once I'm leveled up high enough, I will be running a Destro Resto staff. Let me make sure. Okay. Alright. But I will be running a Destro Resto staff. And, of course I went with high elf because of magic damage. I'm going to change this build real quick. Let's see. I think I'll do Elemental Arcanist. To get into it, I've got a lot of different characters. Let me log out of this one here real quick and I'll show you. And I'll go back to leveling this guy up. I know a lot of members there are a lot of people have seen my vids. I've never really talked too much about what I do on them because too many people copy builds, so on and so forth. But my Grandmaster Diablo, my Argonian Necromancer, which is in Stonefalls, he is a tank. Right now he's out of level on his armor bad, but he's still running like 45k health, even though he's out leveled his armor. On him, all I'm running for a tank, I did a little different. I went with a bow, sword, and shield. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm running what's called organ scales. Because once you hit 60, once your health gets down like 60%, you get a health recovery buff, which is, excuse me, it's very nice. Believe that. And then on top of that, I think I'm running some two-piece Deathwind, two-piece Ashen Grip, and I think a 3-piece white snake or white strike. But all in all, it's health. Let's see, it's I think the white strike for 3 pieces I get like a health recovery. Um, the 2-piece ashen grip, if I'm not mistaken, I get it's either physical or spell resistance, and the 2-piece death wind. It's one of the other two. So I basically got him set up as a tank. Now my Magsorc, I really don't like showing off what I run on these guys either. You know, this time I will. What I'm running on this guy is real good. It's a very nice setup. I get an unbelievable amount of damage. You can't tell just because I've out leveled my armor on this guy too. Every time you level up, or if you go into player versus player PvP on these low levels or BGs, you end up dying here and there. You you end up your armor, weapons, your damage, all of it just goes down the more times you die. And so believe me when I say I die, I get killed a lot in PvP, because everybody knows in PvP who Wicked Diablo is. And if you're in PvP on that stuff, everybody knows Wicked Diablo is a heavy hitter. Let me put it to you. Okay. Say it says right now my weapon damage is at 2900. But that's because I've out leveled my stuff. And like I said, every time you die, your weapons of armor lose durability. So it's no longer um, up top there where it says equipment bonus. It's no longer a 4-star. And of course, you see max stamina, running everything into it. My weapon crit 42.8, 16k spell resistance, 16k physical resistance, 1900 crit resistance, 1400 stam recovery. I'm running the Lady Boon. Why? Physical and spell resistance. This is why I'm running it. So basically, dual wield, I'm running that. Both sharpened, both poison. Increase physical and spell penetration. Both purple. My backup's my two-handed. Sharpened. Increase physical and spell penetration with poison damage. And then I get in Kvatch Gladiator. So if you look at this, I'm running a 5-piece Hundings, a 5-piece Kvatch Gladiator. Why? When your target is under 25% health, it adds 1900 weapon damage to your light and heavy attacks, which is real nice, especially on a Magsorc werewolf. And then I'm running a 2-piece Shackle Breaker, which adds 133 damage. So I got head impin, chest impin, hands impin, legs impin. It looks like feet Nernholm, increase physical and spell resistance. Hands Nernhone, increase physical and spell resistance. And shoulders Nernhone, increase physical and spell resistance. Now here's where you're going to be psyched out. I'm running my jewelry for my Hunting's Rage all white, no traits. Just weapon damage. Now, if I was running traits on here, it would be increased stamina, which would, in fact, raise my stamina from 31k to about 36, 37k. And of course, I've got 1400 recovery. Why is that? I'll show you. Dubious Cameron Throne. I rock that out. GoCo Swift Survivor. I like using that mostly. Restore 8300 health immediately. Grants major fortitude. Major expedition, increasing your health recovery by 20% for 36.3 seconds. And movement speed by 30% for 10.5 seconds. Also grants unstoppable for 8 seconds, breaking you free of and rendering you immune to crowd control effects. So I like rocking that. So this is my own personal build. Of course, you see, like I said, level 38. My character's level 41. Why am I running lower level? I only create leveled armor at certain levels. So like once I hit level 20, I'll make armor. Once I hit level 30, I make armor. Once I hit level 38, I make armor. And then I've got armor for level 44. Once I hit level 44, now here's the best part. Innate Axiom. Adds 479 spell and weapon damage to your class abilities, which is real sweet. More cooldown. When you deal damage with a light or heavy attack, you have a 10% chance to summon an animated weapon to attack your enemies for 15 seconds. The animated weapon's basic attacks deal 5,900 physical damage. That is real nice also. What do I got over here? Say, Innate Axiom. And then I'm running a 2-piece shackle. Weapon damage. And for my weapons, it'll be Innate Axiom. And an Innate Axiom Greatsword. Why do all that? I'll show you. This is what I'm running on my dual wield, which is real mean if you know how to run a stam sword. Dark Deal. Bargain with Darkness to restore 8k health and 3600 stamina instantly, and an additional 2380 stamina over 20 seconds. Now here's the tricky part. Whenever you get to run that, make sure you use momentum. Anytime you use momentum and then hit that heal, that's going to increase that dramatically. Hurricane. Same thing. If you're going to use skills, make sure you use your momentum, because it increases the damage of everything. Crit Surge same thing. Now here's the thing. Your critical surge, invoke Meridia's name to gain major brutality, increasing your weapon damage by 23% for 33 seconds while active. Dealing a critical strike heals you for 2900 health. This effect occurs every second. Now you see what that says. You get major brutality, which increases your weapon damage. What do you get with momentum? Major brutality, increasing your weapon damage. Basically, this is set up to go along with your heals. But, alright, so we got Dark Deal, Hurricane, Crit Surge, Rendering Slashes, Rapid Strikes, Werewolf. Rending Slashes. Slice an enemy with both weapons to cause deep lacerations, dealing 2100 physical damage with each weapon and causing them to bleed for an additional 10k physical damage over 10 seconds. You also reduce their movement speed by 40%. So while you're popping your rapid strikes, let's see, I think it's like every, so let's do it like this. Whenever you do this, alright, crit rush, you hit that, one, two, well, if it would have lasted longer, you would have hit that, one, and you see that damage on the NPCs. Don't get mistaken for the damage on these, because it isn't the exact same way when you go to fight people. Basically, both of those do the exact same thing. On my two hand, so you got momentum, vigor, crit rush, dizzying swing, execute. On top of that, Dawnbreaker. See what that Dawnbreaker does? Deals 10k physical damage to enemies in front of you, an additional 11k physical damage over 6 seconds. So 21k damage. Whenever you use it, you want to hit your buff, whichever one, because it will increase the damage that's done with your Dawnbreaker. It's like if you're not on this bar here, you ain't got your Hurricane running, you ain't got your damage being ran all the time. You want to make sure that you're constantly running your Hurricane. As soon as it drops out when you're battling, you want to flip over, try to get your heals, no matter what you're on. Now you've seen my own personal build. That's my Magsorc werewolf. You can set your character up however you want. I mean, good. I mean, you really want some good sets? I can throw you some ideas out there. I can help you out with what you can run. A lot of people in ESO want to call me a scrub. Like they'll beat me. They'll be running on a CP 810 and beat me and call me a scrub because I'm a level 17. It's like, really? The only one out of all of these characters, as of right now, he is probably my worst one. My Big Daddy Diablo. I mean, he doesn't do bad. He just, he's not set up the way I want him to be set up. This guy here, he's set up the way I want him to. He's just out of level on his armor. A little bit worse than what my werewolf is. I think I'm running like level 32 armor on him. And of course, he's at a level 37, almost level 38. But when I go into BGs, they still have a hell of a time trying to kill me. And same thing, I mean, there's guys in Cyrodiil here that know how I run my builds, and so they come out with ways to get around it. So of course, guys will come out and hit me with slows, and most of them now will run poisons. And I'll just be honest with you. I mean, if you got to run a poison on your weapon, I mean, anything like that, if you got to equip that stuff, believe me, that don't make you good. If you want to call yourself good when you're on here gaming, do it straight up skill. Don't sit there, pop on some beef foul or spam snipe or spam biting jabs and expect to be OP. That's straight up, I'll be honest with you. Yeah, it's a skill. Yeah, it might get the job done, but it doesn't say you're a good player. With this guy, all of my stats would be higher because, like I said, of course, I'm level 37, running level 32 gear. Destro and Restro, Julianos, adds 303 spell damage. Now, you see, I went from that. Now I'm running blue 5-piece spinners. 2800 spell penetration. It's real nice. Especially if I have this and I put this on my Magsorc. That's going to help my Magsorc out a lot. The setup I got on this guy is going to go far, so I ain't going to have to worry about creating any new armor because I've got armor set up. So I got 5-piece Julianos, 303 spell damage, 5-piece spinners, 280 to 2800 spell penetration. Let's see what else. And a 2-piece Turok. And of course, the spinners has got trade on it. Yes. But the rings, well, it looks like one ring has a trait. That's alright. But spell damage. And for Turok's pack, you get an extra 100 spell damage. So, if I had this stuff, basically, up where my character was at, my spell damage would be through the roof. Let's hit my buffs. See, 2700. It was at 2300. Now it's up to 2700. Now, if all of my armor was set to my level of what I am right now, all of my stuff would shoot through the roof. I would be hitting for about, I think, 34, like 3400 spell damage. My spell crit was at, let's see, after I created my armor, I was hitting 3300 for the spell damage, and I was hitting at a 46.7 spell crit. So if all my stuff was at my level right now, I would be hitting just as hard. Thing is, too, just so you know, is even though I'm running something like this, don't don't take a set like this too lightly. All right, you still got plenty of sustain, especially if you're on a mag DK like I am. What is that? Molten Arraignments. See what it does? Grants you volcanic power to gain major sorcery, increasing your spell damage by 23%. Coagulating blood. Draw on your draconic blood to heal for 6700, increasing by up to 33% based, on your missing health. Also get major fortitude, increasing health recovery by 20% for 22 seconds. Hardened armor. Release your inner dragon to gain major resolve and major ward, increasing your physical resistance and spell resistance by 5200 for 20 seconds. Also get a damage shield that absorbs up to 1700 damage for 6 seconds. This portion of the ability scales off your max health. While active, the armor returns 1000 magic damage to any enemy that uses a direct damage attack against you. Flame Clinch. Devastate an enemy with an enhanced charge of your staff, dealing 3400 flame damage and an additional 4900 flame damage over 8 seconds. Also knocks enemies back 5 meters. Force Pulse. Focus all the elemental energies with your staff and blast an enemy for 1700 flame damage, 1700 frost damage, and 1700 shock damage. Soul Strike. Burn an enemy from the inside with soul fire, dealing 30k magic damage over 2.5 seconds. Now, if my armor was at my level, that would actually say dealing 46k. That's the thing. Every time you level out, your skills lose damage as well. Just keep that in mind. They don't hit as hard as they would if your armor was set to your level. Now for my restoration bar. Let's see here. Annulment. Equip. It requires 5 pieces of light armor equipped. Surround yourself with a net of magic negation, gaining a damage shield that absorbs 5200 damage for 6 seconds. Damage shield strength capped at 40% of your max health. Engulfing Flames. Exhale a flaming blast to enemies in front of you, dealing 4200 flame damage and additional 6200 flame damage over 10 seconds. Affected enemies take 7% more damage from all fire damage attacks. So, when I hit them with this, Molten Whip. Lash an enemy with flame, dealing 5300 flame damage. If you strike an enemy that is immobile or stunned, you set them off balance. While slotted, whenever you activate a different art flame ability, you gain a stack of Seething Fury. which increases the damage of your next molten whip by 33%, and your weapon and spell damage by 125 for 5 seconds. This effect stacks up. Ooh. This effect stacks up to 3 times. Burning Embers. Flame dealing. Slash an enemy with flame, dealing 2,800 flame damage and an additional 8,400 flame damage over 10 seconds. Heals you for 73% of total damage inflicted when the effect ends. Burning Talons. Call for talons from the ground, dealing 4,300 flame damage to enemies near you, an additional 4,300 flame damage over 4 seconds, and immobilizing them for 4 seconds. Ferocious Leap. Launch yourself at an enemy, dealing 10k flame damage to all enemies in the area, knocking them back and stunning them for 2 seconds. After leaping, you gain a damage shield that absorbs 51% of your max health in damage for 6 seconds. So, all in all, I've got this guy set up real good. All of my abilities revolve around flame damage. Even with my destruction staff, somebody is constantly getting hit with flame damage. Some scrub fucking got the hammer. Wow. You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna lose the hammer to DC like they always do. It pisses me off bigger than shit. Now we're getting ready to see a dragon, boys.
Bedroom. Already seen you like that. Ooh, Zena, honey.
I am in the process eating. That's why it takes me so long. Alright. I think if I'm going to do stuff like this, I might just start a new broadcast and get my Mag DK out and have me some fun like I have most of the day. Alrighty.